All right. So now the last month, February, we was really dialing in the zones, getting our entries right, getting our trade setups right. That's what we were focusing on. Um, Many different ways on how these zones stack up. Sometimes they're good, sometimes they're bad, sometimes it don't even make sense. Some zones are easy, some are hard. We kind of talked about that. If we need to go over something else with that, please let me know. Like, hey, let's talk about this with the zones. Talk about this part. How do you add in a Fibonacci, or how do you just whatever? Just let me know. But so that's what we did. We may come back to that later on because stuff is constantly changing, and we may come back to that topic later on in the year. But today, I want to focus on when the market is looking weird. Like, not weird, that's the wrong word. Like, when the market is in a weird spot where it's like, what do I do? It could either go up or down. Do you kind of get what I'm saying? It could go either way. How do you handle that situation? And that's what I wanted to try my best to show you how to handle those. Now, I'm not going to be 100% in those situations. I'm not 100% in none of these situations, but I'm pretty much, I would say, around 80%. But I'm gonna give you what to look for. My whole goal is to get you thinking a certain way, and then when I get you thinking a certain way, if you keep grinding at it, like, you will start discovering things on your own. But you just got to get this thinking a certain way about this stuff. So let's see here. I want to share my chart. Give me 1 second. So I thought that it was a good idea to start here because this is where we left off at on Thursday, going into Friday last week. Now, I don't know if you went into the announcements and saw the video that I posted, but I was just trying to give you, like, the market was at a weird spot where it could go either way. It could just keep dropping or it could pull back. Well, it ended up pulling back to the area that I thought would be a good spot for it to pull back to. So that video is there if you want to rewatch it and kind of go through my thought process during that time. But this is the play out of it. I think it was like down here. The market has been moving slow. We've been trading GBP USD for London session, and it's not moving, or it's like faking us out. But we knowing the whole time when we was trading Wednesday live, I believe it was Wednesday, when we was trading Wednesday live, we knew it was trying to fake us out. We it gotta drop. Like, well, it don't have to, but it should. Check it out. This big uptrend, and then it finally broke that uptrend to the downside. Dropped, came all the way back up, and we like, when is it gonna drop again? But it had to get those, get that liquidity. It had to pull back. You see that big old wick? It had to stop people out. and then it drops. So I'm noticing from the end of last year, even continuing till now, when the market is looking very, very obvious, it's just not going to be easy. Like, it's obvious that it's just broke this trend line. It's like it's been looking way too obvious what's going to happen, and it's like it's not going to go smooth for us. So go in with that mindset. That may give you a little bit more patience with this. It may stop some of the frustration that you may have because it's too obvious. Everybody sees the same technical analysis. So let's be ready for some stop hunts and all this other stuff. So, but anyways, this is where the market was at. Now, I'm showing you this one because this was actually one that happened, but then we're gonna go back and find some different ones. All right, and then we should be, I ain't gonna hold you too long, but this should be pretty smooth. So the market here, okay, we know everybody looking to sell this, but the thing is, everybody sell way too late. And then rookie traders or beginners or even intermediate people, they don't want to wait for a pullback. It's like, oh man, I got to wait for another pullback. I got to wait some more. I mean, that's just the way it is. That's why if you're trading and you're not really paying attention to the markets, like you got to either be flexible, looking at the markets constantly, or you have to trade within a window of time, 2 a.m. to 5 a.m. That's me right there. So I understand I may not get a trade in. But if you are that person that trades within a window, you can't force it. Because I tend to fall into that. Not as much these days, but sometimes I do. Especially when 2 days in a row the market is consolidating or moving weird. So then I tend to try to force something. And when you force something, the risk management ends up being off. But you only thinking about the profits. You only thinking about how good you are, or how good this setup look in regards to the profit that you can make. But if you trade within that time, that window, that 2 a.m. to 5 a.m. or 8 a.m. to 11 a.m., that type of thing, don't force it. I'm telling you. All right. But so my thing is, I can't sell here because I'm at a golden zone. Can't sell here. But I actually showed somebody that I just met. Let me see, where did I meet him at church? No. It was a friend, a relative. It was a relative. And he was like, well, man, I could buy right there. Because I showed him the same example when we was out bowling. I was like, well, you don't want to buy there either, though. Because right where you see the market, that white line is where the market is. You don't want to buy there either because you don't know how far it's going to go up. Like, you could buy there, but if you do, I would be very defensive. I would be very defensive right here. Because it could just go up 5, 10 pips, 8 pips, and then drop again. So really, you should be thinking about, you see the market is dropping and made a lower low. So where is this market going to pull back to? And that's what we got to go over today. Where is this market going to pull back to? And let's try to master that. All right. And the thing is, before I show you other examples, and then we're going to try to challenge ourselves to find some random stuff, you may miss it. And that's the part where you got to understand that that's okay, because you're following a certain rule. And if the market don't line up to it, you're going to miss it. You're not going to catch every single one. And of course, you're going to have a few losers in there, but we want to keep those losers to a minimum. So anyways, the market ended up pulling back. And this happened on Friday. I don't trade on Fridays, but I know some of y'all still do. So the opportunity was there. Let me see. Give me a second. It's like, so now how did I find that? I'm trying to remember, how did I find this? Was this I think it was a golden zone. Not all of them are going to be a golden zone though. Like some of them you're going to have to really find the structure. No, that wasn't a golden zone either. Yeah, no, the golden zone is higher. So you know what? This was the one that I found the structure on when I made that video on Thursday night. Yeah. And y'all looking right at where structure is. I'm always looking back here to the left. So take a look at that. So that's how I found that, where I would do that entry. And instead of going below, I went higher. I wanted to go higher. Now, I didn't give you no lines. I just gave you the entry and the stop loss and the take profit. But instead of going lower, like down here, I went higher. Why would I go higher in this situation? This is the hour chart. I went higher because the 50 moving average is up there. So instead of going below, I went higher to cover the 50. So I'm like, if price with that green candle that came up to the 50 over here on the hard right side, that candle that came up to the 50, if that broke through, I wouldn't have been looking for no sales. I'd have been looking back at consolidation and making its way back up to the top for consolidation. And I think that's what it ended up doing. But first, it respected this structure and dropped for us. But I'm saying that I put my zone, or I put that top line covering the 50 in that situation. Because I would not rather get, I would try to avoid getting faked out is what I'm trying to say. And right in that same structure level, this is where price at now. So that's current. All right. So let's go back and let's find some other situations here. Let's learn now. This is a good one right here. All right, let's my computer lagging a little bit. Let me delete this. Now I'm because I want to back test it and give you the rules on it. So when we just pick a random spot and just scroll the market back and pick a random spot, I want to challenge us together. Like can we figure this out together? So now where would the price is up here? Where would you put what would you do in this situation? So these are the spots that we find ourselves in. It can be some type of potential head and shoulders, possibly, maybe not. You know what I'm saying? Like I don't really care about that, because even with an inverse head and shoulders, it's all about the structure levels around that inverse head and shoulders anyway. And with an inverse head and shoulders, you just got to understand the structure around it, which is the left shoulder and the right shoulder and the neckline. That's all you got to really understand. I don't really care about that. But what would you do in this situation? You can't buy in this situation. And you got to find a proper pullback area. That's the thing. Like I said in the beginning, we're going to focus on retest. Where's the proper retest area? Where would you put it at? Where would you start to begin to look to get into this trade again? Now, you can pull out a golden zone, but like I say, not everything is a golden zone. So maybe some of y'all will put a golden zone up down here. Well, guess what? I wouldn't do that. I would not do that. I will pull it up from here. Do you know why I would start there? If you don't know why, just ask the question in the comments. But that's where I would start it. So if you know, good. If you don't know, ask. But also, this is wrong as well, because we don't know that that's the high point. Price could slide a little bit higher. It could push up a little bit higher. So we don't know that that's even the high point. So in this situation, I'm not even using the golden zone. But I'm gonna leave it up though. When price break the 23.6, that's when the golden zone is active. All right. When price break that 23.6 line. Right now it's just tentative, you know. All right. So golden zone is there. But where would you get in for a pullback? Actually, I want to delete this golden zone. Skip that, because we really don't need it. I want you to look right inside of this area right here. Look inside of here. I don't want to rush. I don't want to talk too fast. I don't want to rush. I want to get the proper thoughts out. The answers is right here. Is where is the pullback? Now, are you going to get this? Are you going to get the spot right every single time? No. But you want to pretty much test this, get good at it, and find what happens 80% of the time. Learn how to read this to where you can put your zone, your retest zone at the proper spot 80% of the time. That's all you need. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to look here. And then I will go back a week, a month, wherever the data is, and I would double check it. So I would say, do you see how price stopped right here? This is technical analysis. This is reading market structure. This is not reading anything. You really don't need a lot of stuff, really. If I look at a MACD crossover, I'm going to do that at the very end after doing this work. If I look at a moving average crossover or a parabolic SAR dots, if y'all know what that is, I'm looking at that after the fact. So you see how market stopped right there? And do you see how these candles bunched up right here? I'm telling you, team, it's that simple. You it can't be that simple. But how many times am I going to trade live and do this with y'all? For you to believe me. So if it ain't going to come this way, then it's got to be the golden zone. If it ain't going to be with that structure, then it's got to be the golden zone. Right? I mean, think about it. And then if it ain't none of those, it means it's a strong trend, and you just probably gonna miss it, and then you can just catch the next zone. So catch the next one. The next one is right up in here. This is the next one. So if price continues to shoot straight up from here, like it sometimes does, then you do that to the next level. And then at some point, it might even be so extended, pushed up so far, you might just be looking at an all-out pullback. So now you start looking at where the sellers start kicking in at. Now that's starting to get into some other stuff though, but this ain't that class. Let's just focus. That's really back in, because I was about to go on some other stuff. But anyways, then also, if it ain't this structure that I just circled, and it ain't the golden zone, that means it's probably breaking the golden zone, then we're gonna take a sell. That's gonna require a little bit more time though, because you got to make sure it's breaking below the golden zone and retest it, then you can take a sell. So it just takes time. You understand the patience behind this? I'm gonna take a second and look at the comments and see if anybody commented. Why would you start the fib there? So when I'm on the charts, I can't see the comments right away. So when you say something like, what you mean by that? I don't know like what part I said. What you mean by that? All in. I don't know what you were referring to, because if I pull up the comments on my phone, the speaker is gonna switch over to my phone and it's gonna mess up. You won't even be able to hear me. So whenever you say what you mean by that, like kind of like explain that part, so when I come back to the comments, I can know what you were referring to. Sellers came in. Okay, sellers came in. Yeah, so you're referring to the circle. Okay, where the circle is at. Yeah, so sellers came in there. But see, here's the thing, Fred. The market just broke the 50 moving average on the hour chart. That trend line is broken. That bearish trend line is broken to the upside. So for the time, man, I coughed all in that microphone. I'm sorry, y'all. Please forgive me. Please forgive me. Listen. For the time being, Fred, I'm looking for buys. That's why I got the 50 up there. And that's why I look at it on the hour chart. So, I can kind of trust the 50 when in regards to buyers and sellers. When price is above the 50, I'm looking at buys. So I'm looking for buys in this situation. Because the trend was broken. All right, so T said, why would you start the fib there? So I do know what she's talking about. The reason why I'm gonna put the fib there, T, is because I can't start it here, because look, let me put a fib here and I'm gonna drag it up because the market pushed up, right? And I'm gonna drag it up to these wicks right here. Do you see that the market came back to the golden zone right here? The market just pulled back to that golden zone and bounced higher. That's why I'm gonna move it up, because that golden zone has been completed, and I'm gonna move it up here to where it pulled back to and took off. And now I'm gonna track it from here. Now look at this. Now let's put the fib at these wicks. Why don't I put the fib up here, T? And start up here at this pullback? Because price never broke the 23.6 line, the green line. Price never broke it. So this golden zone that you see right now has not been activated. So that's why I'm going to keep tracking as the market go higher, because nothing has broke the 23.6. Does that make sense? And we're going to just keep doing it until price finally break the 23.6. Then the golden zone will be activated. That's why. All right, now hold on. Let's keep it moving here. This is where I will put my pullback in. The answer was there. This is where I stopped before I start looking in the comments. I'm gonna go here. I'm gonna cover that, and this would be my I was gonna say my spread here, but this is my zone. That's my zone right there. Now you can check it, because I would go back and check it, make sure it makes sense. Anything in the past, it got to make sense. I like those wicks sitting at that area. This new stop hunt candle stopped at the zone. Look at this structure right here to the hard left of my screen. Like, this makes sense. So I'm rolling with it. Now I'm looking for buys, you know, in this situation. And Fred, I told you why, remember? So because it broke that 50 and the trend line going up. But I would look for buys, and this would be your entries at that area. Now, I'm only looking for like not like big buys, not swing trading buys. Let's talk about that part. What type of buy am I looking for? I want you to be realistic. This market is very extended. Wouldn't you agree? Like, this is very extended. You got to pay attention to that part, because once I started understanding this is what saved me from a lot of losing days, because I started to understand that I need to be defensive today. The way the market was forming, I need to be defensive. I can't go for the home run on this trade. And then in this situation, it's simple because it already moved a lot. So you just getting just the last little bit. But if you learn how to set the market up the way I'm showing you, you can get those comfortably. You know, I ain't gonna say that this was comfortable, because this was going back and forth a lot, but it was, you know, it still followed the rules. Like, this was spiking back and forth a lot. What day was this? This is a Wednesday. But it worked out though. So one thing that I don't do a lot is like show you where stop losses would be and all of that other stuff. But where would your TP be? Where would the take profit be? It gotta be here, right? Wouldn't that make sense? Like, it gotta be here. It gotta be somewhere up in here, because isn't that where the take profit? Isn't that where sellers kicked in? Isn't that where it looked like take profits, you know, profits were being taken in the past? All right, maybe you don't understand it that way. Isn't this area where pivots were being made, turnarounds were being made? You understand it that way? So this is the first possible area where you're going to run into trouble. So as you take an entry here, you understand it that way, and you know where to take profit at. So if that's where I'm taking profit at, all right. And then you got to at least be a 1-to-1. You know, you don't want to be like this. You don't want to be lopsided like this. That's terrible. This, you can try to be like this, but with trading GBP at certain times, this is not realistic. I'm going to tell you straight up. This is not realistic all the time. So you may get away with it, but putting this top stop loss that tight, I mean, you could try it, but I'm just telling you, it ain't going to be realistic. So I'm going to put it below these wicks right here. Now, if you get in, if you set up the market this way and wait for these pullbacks, you should be getting a favorable risk to reward. You should always be at a 1-to-1 minimum. Now, the best risk to reward was always buying low and selling high. So this was the greatest risk to reward right here, because you had this big push, price made a turnaround, pivoted, it pushed up, and then it made a higher low. It made a higher low right where my the finger pointer is. Let me show you right where I put this long position tool. It made a higher low right there at the golden zone. That is the best risk to reward. Now this one, now think about it. Where would the first possible sign of trouble be if you got in? If you got in way down here, where's the first possible trouble at? Up here, where these wicks is. So that's how you can get those. But you can't be, you gotta be aware, because these moves don't just happen all the time. You might they only might happen like when the risk to reward is this great, it might happen twice a week. But then you got like 2 other currency pairs that you can kind of time up, but they all kind of move the same though. But twice a week, really. So you have to, so if it's happening twice a week, what day is it gonna happen on that we gonna get this type of setup? You don't know. So that's where I was telling you in the beginning, you got to be flexible. You got to be checking the charts every day, throughout the day. Because if you're just showing up like me, 2 a.m. to 5 a.m., that's my time, you're not gonna get these all the time. Sometimes you will though. But what's the chances of it landing, you know what I'm saying, in that specific time? It's slim. Sometimes it will, sometimes it won't. 50-50, you know. But if you, like I say, you got to be on it. You got to be on it. And it's okay to be on it, you know, but you got to know what you're looking for. So me, because I trade 2 to 5, I was forced to learn how to find my pockets, how to get that daily income. And then I was forced to learn when to be on defense, when to be on offense, when I can let it ride out, when I need to be careful. I was forced to learn that because my window is 2 to 5. This is Central Standard Time. So I had to get really good at it if I was gonna make some money. All right. So that's the trade setup for this one, and that's how you go about it. And I'm taking profit. Now, let's just see what ended up happening, because I done forgot now. I didn't talk a minute and I done forgot what happened. So now it inched up a little higher where I had it at originally. It inched up higher. So now I'm waiting for price to break this 23.6 or something. At this point, I got my retest zone down there. All right, it's trying to break the 23.6. There it is. So now the 23.6 is broken. Now because I know some of y'all know Fred, some of y'all know Clay, y'all know this, but it's new people joining and wanting to learn every day. So you can't stop going over this stuff. Now the golden zone is activated. Now, okay, now what do you, this is another good one. What do you do from here? Now what do we do? Now it broke back below the 50. Do we just can we take a sell? Can we take a sell from here? Do we buy from here? You know, what do we do? So could you look for a pullback for the sell, or is there too much MO going up past the 50? Too much movement? going up past the 50. Wait for a retest. Wait for a retest. Retest for what? Buy or sell? Looking left, I'm taking a buy on a retest of the 50. On 50 sell. Okay, so we got some mixed. This is what I want to see. So now we got some mixed opinions. This is incredible now. I did a YouTube video where I was trading live, where I used to trade live on YouTube, right? And people was like, "Oh, it's a buy, it's a sell." I said, both of y'all are right. It's just for some, you know, for the sales, do you know where to get in at, and do you know where to get out at? And for y'all, that's the buyers, do you know where to get in at? Both of y'all right. And that's, I ain't saying both of y'all in the comments right now. I'm just saying, like, that's what the YouTube live was. So I'm just telling you that both of y'all can be right. It's just that for this, we don't know what's the dominant energy right now. Because that was a big drop right there. All those red candles to the left of that big circle, that was a big drop. But then also it broke the trend line and it's looked like it's reversing. So it could go either way. I'll tell you what though. I got this zone right here. So that's important to me. So if price break the zone, I could buy. But you know what? When it gets tricky like this, I'm already finding my next zone. Certain times, I'm not even playing with you. I'm gonna find my next buy zone. I'm not gonna even play the middle. And then I'm gonna make sure that zone is correct. I'm gonna go in. How do I do that? I go in the past where I already look, y'all. All the people that's in here, because today is the beginning of I think the first Sunday of the month, and I like to do a free class for everybody. But I tell you what, if you don't know how to make sure your zones is right, you need to join. You need to join so you can watch them videos on how I did. I spent the whole month doing it. You're gonna perfect it. All right. So make sure them zones is right. And then we're going to play it like that. So now Clay said, I'm going to wait for the retest on the 50. Okay, so let's do that. There's the golden zone right there. Golden zone tapped. Now it's activated, T. What you think about that, T? That golden zone, it was activated when it broke the 23.6. We just got a spike on that boy. Go down to the 30 on that. Let's go down to the 15 on that boy right there. Okay. Looking for additional confirmation for the sell to the golden zone. Then look for possible buy. Looking for additional confirmation for the sell to the golden zone. I'm looking for the buy because the reaction to the bullish market. I like how you thinking, all in. I like how you thinking on that one. I like Billy too. Billy got my mindset. But anyways, let's play this out though. Let me see. What would I do in this situation here? What would I do? Let me look at this. What the thing called MACD. Okay. So it's no cross. Hold on one second, y'all. 1 second. Okay. All right. So right here, I don't like using those steep trend lines. I was thinking about that, but I can't even do that. That I know good and well that ain't part of my rules. That's kind of steep. That's kind of steep. All right. So now what would you do if you wanted to take a buy here? That trend line is too steep. I'm not gonna even play with you like that. I gotta find structure. It's always that. So if I was to take a buy, it gotta break another structure level. It's always gonna come down to that. I don't care. I mean, how else you gonna trade? If you ain't trading structure, because you can look at the news all you want, and you can see that, hey, this is going on in the world, and non-farm payroll is doing this and that. But you got to look at structure with that too. You can't just say, oh, these many people lost jobs and this and that. Oh, let me just randomly take a sale right here, and then the market spikes up to a structure level where you really should have took a sale at. So it's always gonna be structure. If you ain't trading structure, what you gonna do? You gonna trade moving average crossovers all day long? These supply and demand zones is structure, and the market is hitting those all day long. You just gotta find them. You gotta learn how to see them. This is what I'm teaching in class week after week. All the ways to find it. So this is where I'm seeing that buyers kicked in the past. When the market broke this area is when buyers kicked in. So if I was to take buys, now I'm telling you this right here, when I learned how to understand and think about where buyers kick in, where sellers kick in, where do the buyers come in? Where does the sellers come in? That took me to another level. But if I was to take a buy here, I would do it this way. All right. But at the end of the day, this is a good one right here too. And we're kind of waiting to see what this one gonna do. Oh, hold on. Stop. So the market never broke above that level right there. It just came up and stopped. Cool. So there was no buy to take. But look at this. Billy, didn't you say something about look for some type of confirmation to take a sale to the golden zone or something? And Billy said looking for a sale, and somebody said I'm looking for a buy off the 50. Like, you're both right. It's just, do you know where to get in on your areas? Now, although I couldn't take a buy right here because it never broke it, I still like it. I like it even more. And the reason why I like it even more, because it stopped right at it. I marked up that was a pretty good area to mark up. So now, if price break that little area, I might be looking to take a buy from there. Yeah, that's pretty good. And now this might, I don't know what time of the day. You can't be back testing and not know what time of the day it is. So this is 12 o'clock on Thursday. So you probably not gonna get no movement from here. But now this is where All In said that he kicking in. Remember, All In wanted the buys. So the sellers got theirs. And let's see, does the buyers get theirs? Let's see. Yeah, I already knew this wasn't gonna be no movement because it was 12 o'clock. Pretty much at 11 o'clock every day, I'm done. Like even Fred like said that too. Like he done. 11 o'clock is over. Let's see, does the buyers kick in? I would be going to the hour chart at this point. Oh, there go the buyers right there. Boom. So that's what I'm saying. So now the sellers and the buyers got paid. It's just, did you know where your area was as a seller? Did you know where your area was as a buyer? And honestly, this ain't went nowhere. This whole little bull crap is nothing. Like, it's enough to make some daily income, but it ain't like no big old trend. It's just finding your pockets, knowing your pockets. Where as you as a buyer, that's all this is scalping. I'm really good at it. But look at this. As a seller, where's your entry? Like, where's your pocket? Entry, stop loss, take profit. Where's your pocket? Find it. You got to know it. And then as a buyer, same thing. Because both people can make money inside these pockets. And this is money though. 19 pips, 18, let me see, 18, 17 pips, like anything over 15 pips, even 12 pips is money. And you getting in right at a perfect spot though. Where the stop loss is going to be right on the other side. You can go in here and pull these pockets out every single day. If you got like 3 pairs. You got 3 pairs pretty much. If you wait, not everything going to be from 2 to 5 though. Not everything going to be from 8 to 11. But between 3 pairs, you should be able to catch something consistently. If not, I wouldn't even be here. I wouldn't have made no money, nothing. Because that right now with my life, that's all I can do is 2 to 5. If I want to be a father, be in my kid's life and be good at it, you know what I'm saying? Like I can only do 2 to 5. Now, when them kids start going to school, that might be a different story. I might be licking my chops at that point. Like, okay, what can we do? What can we do with this extra time on our hands? But I got about 2 more years of this. Because they only 4. And I think they got to be 5, but their birth date is weird. So I think they're going to be close to 6. Or, I don't know, maybe a year and a half of this. And then I can be able to, expand out from 2 to 5. I ain't gonna know what to do with myself with all this time on my hand when they go to school. But 1 second. So I think Billy said something. I got my buy from the golden zone. And that's incredible. So the hardest one, y'all, is man, I didn't open up hold on, y'all. I didn't open up another app on the computer. Dang, touchy. The hardest one is I would be straight up with you. The hardest one is catching a buy from the golden zone or catching a sell from the golden zone. That you may find that to be the trickiest one. But I tell you what, the golden zone is pretty much is going to be bigger. That may be the first reason why it's a little harder, because that golden zone is always thicker. It's bigger than the regular zones. But I tell you what, all you're waiting for is candlestick patterns, candlesticks, wicks. That's what you're looking for. But the only way you're going to get good at it is if you go back test this 100, 500 times. Like, only back test golden zones. Make that a day, a week that you do that. For the whole week, I'm going to back test golden zones. I'm going to see how to get in on golden zone, whether it's breaking or holding. That's the next thing that you got to learn. And that take time, you know, because you got to read, you got to look for those candlesticks that pop up that tell the story on I'm holding, or the candlestick that tells the story that I'm breaking it. And when it break it, you don't just sell it. You got to wait for the pullback, and then you got to learn how to read the pullback. Like, is it really going to pull back to this golden zone, or is it going to break through it? So it's going to take, you see how, what I'm saying is it takes time to learn it, but I'm telling you what to go study. This is when you learn these not tactics, but like these different methods, you're going to be able to find income every day in the market. Pretty much. I mean, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday for sure. And you're gonna be like not like getting in at random spots. That's the main thing. Like, if you learn something for today, like I don't want us to get in at random spots in the market. When the market is at a random spot, or not a random spot, like at a weird spot, and it's like it go either way, I just showed you in this video how to go about it, how to handle it, how to think about it. Because trust me, team, we're going to run into that situation this week when we trade live together. When you open your charts up, the market going to be at a weird spot. I want you to recall what you learned today. And then you stay true to it, and you wait, and you err on the side of missing the trade, not rushing into the trade. You err on the side of missing it. I'd rather miss the trade than just jump in this hoping that it works out. I'd rather miss it. Because what's going to happen is when you have that mentality, I'd rather miss it, you might end up finding your way into it because you waited long enough for it to form. But one thing for sure, I'm not about to just be jumping in and it ain't clearly ready yet. It's almost ready. It's getting close to being ready. It's getting close to breaking this area. It's getting close to coming back to this area. No, you're going to have to come back to this area. Because I also got to account for potentially losing this trade. And I ain't trying to lose too much. So you're going to have to come back to this area. And if it doesn't work out, then you got two other pairs to kind of go back and forth with.